All right, now I didn't make a note card for this, but I did want to talk about Trump, and it's just kind of, it's almost emotionally difficult to talk about, really. And I'm sure people will interpret that in many different ways, but whatever. Um, the thing is that, well, okay, I'll just go to this current moment. So when Trump ordered the strike on the Syrian airport, um, I immediately went to YouTube and I saw that Hard Case Owns You was very much we've been fooled. Trump's an asshole. I saw Vic, who I haven't run into for a while, commenting there, calling him melodramatic. I said hi to Vic. So and I saw Sticks and Hammer. That's who I wanted to say. Quintica, I know you know about Sticks and Hammer. Both of those guys probably, but and his reaction was very interesting because, like, right at the time that the news was coming out that we sent the bombs, my tax money, I pay taxes, so some of my dollars were in that $80 million worth of bombs we dropped, yeah, right, fired, launched. Um, he was had a video about how Hillary had advised doing that. Certainly not. Sticks and Hammer is very interesting. And he hasn't given up. Now he's made a video that he hasn't given up on Trump yet, being on the Trump train. But he's the least trained. I had a song. How did it go? That included a train. It's like, it was, I have 5 facts, right? I have 5 facts. And the facts were, I'm not atomistic. I'm relativistic. I've been called a mystic. When the train came, I missed it. When the train comes, you miss it. And in the song, the lyrics are about, I showed up at the train station to get on the train, but I was late because I tend to be late and the train was already gone and I missed it. And that was fucking lucky because it's the conformity train. And Sticks and Hammer doesn't want to be a conformist. It's just like it has seemed like for someone his age that conforming is to be someone different. So he's someone different, and so he thinks he's yet still someone different. And I'm not saying that he's going to ever figure it out. I'm not vouching for him, but he is interesting. And for example, he called it this is a big mistake by Trump and the kind of people that watch him and like him. They're like, what the hell? How could he do this? And I didn't gloat. I try not to gloat. There were some things that might be gloat, like somebody said, "How could you do this to his supporters?" And I wrote, "Well, probably the same reason that he doesn't pay his contractors." And then the person said, "Fuck you." But then later in that sub thread, someone was like, well, you did. What about when Obama drone bombed people? I'm like, that was fucked up too. And the same person was like, okay, well, at least we agree on that. And I think we can do that. It's very difficult for somebody that finds out when they find out they've been conned by Trump, and someone like me is like, I told you it was con. It's hard for those two people to go, okay, man, we both are not perfect. Let's get it together. It's hard for that to happen. People will be like, yeah, I was wrong, but you just pointed it out to be mean and we're still enemies. That's the more natural thing. And I'm not saying, and I'm pointing out that I'm not perfect on my side. I'm like, well, I want to gloat a little. I told you it was a con man. You know what I mean? And that can cause that problem. In other words, if there's a threshold and a limit between two people or groups or anything, that's like, there's a physics to it. It really is. It doesn't automatically merge together. If this guy learns he was wrong, that doesn't mean he automatically admits that guy was right or something. And that's the way it should be, as a general physical principle. On the other hand, I would like us to get together. I know there's a lot of people that care about economic justice that have been on the Trump side because of other issues that, as far as I'm concerned, have distracted them and need not distract them, right? Because they're not racial separatists, you know. So that's not their primary focus, and this economic issues then fell to the wayside, and really we could all voted for Bernie and had some economic issues which are not hateful. Rich people are great. Rich people are great. They work hard. Just every single rich person does work hard, but sometimes it doesn't add up in the sum of things because of the way they treat other people. But in many cases, it is. They treat other people great, and they pay them 5% more because they like to do that than their average in their industry. That happens. So it's more about, the economics and the fact that we could join together, and I don't mean as an enemy of anybody. Everybody, the rich people, the poor, everybody could be making more money and sharing more money. We seem sort of emotionally distraught is the basic issue there. So anyway, so Trump swings on war and bombing. Now, I have to admit, this is probably the main thing where I thought something Trump said might come true. Now, I didn't think he would not be a warmonger by my standards, in that I figured he would continue droning, and he would for sure continue the surveillance state, and, a lot, and put more money in the military that doesn't really necessarily do anything. It's soaked up. Even the military doesn't really want it per se. It ends up going out to contractors, subcontractors, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't think he would be bombing Syria just a few days, like less than a week after after the administration is like, that's not a priority. Because it presents this Trump kind of dilemma of, okay, look, are they lying? I mean, I know a lot of people want to bomb Syria. It's a way to attack Iran by proxy. Russia, puppet state. Russia has, I think they have a naval base there or nearby, I think in there, but I forget. I should research this stuff before I make a video. Whatever. There's an axis there. A lot of people, like Hillary, and I wouldn't say I was sure that Trump wouldn't go along with that. But, it's kind of like renegotiate NAFTA. I'm like, well, I don't know if he would do a good job of it or anything. So I'm not saying I'd hope he would actually try it, because he could fuck it up, But, I mean, I'm for redoing NAFTA. I think we should have free trade, but it should protect workers more. So, like, how about there's a minimum wage in all of North America has a minimum wage. It's $5 an hour, or even 8, even 15. If that kind of thing was on the table, then we would keep negotiating what that rate was. Things like that could be good. Now, I don't think Trump would do that, but that would be good. And I had a medium hope he would go in that direction. And even opening it means that people could chime in, and there still are smart people to say, hey, this would actually be good in the sense of helping everybody, or making it more fair. Let's put it that way. Whether it helps everybody or not, making it more fair. And I didn't think he would really be able to do that, and he's basically bowing out of that promise. But I have to say, I did think he possibly, his promise of not being so interventionist, that populists, right-wing populists, sometimes are isolationist and are like, fuck the rest of the world, like Rand Paul. And even though how they get to that opinion is totally different than how I get to a non-interventionist policy bias, even though they're different ways we get, it's like, okay, maybe he would not bomb somewhere in the Middle East. As if you could have an American president that didn't bomb somewhere in the Middle East. It's kind of like, hey, you don't get to put your portrait up in the White House after you're gone unless you bomb at least one place in the Middle East. New rule. So anyway, I mean, the most logical conclusion is that he's distracting from his scandals and his popularity rating. And if this doesn't make his popularity rating rise, it would be the first time that I know of in American history that a president killing foreign people didn't make his popularity rise. But I do actually, to be honest, also have some hope for that people will be all in on the false flag kind of thing. And then again yesterday when I was watching Sticks and Hammer and searching on this and seeing some live streams of how, MAGA's over, man, from true believers, which is to their credit. To their credit, they said, I think it could be doing. I'm going for boxcars, motherfucker. And when it didn't come up boxcars, they're still like, nah, that didn't work out. And they're like, this one live stream I saw was like, well, you couldn't have known, though. I'd still vote the same way if I knew what I knew then. But, yep, we got conned. We couldn't have known, though. It's like, I'm like, look back in history. You could have known. This guy is a fucking con. He promises everything to everybody and continually screws over his workers and partners. Anybody that trusts him, that's where the money is actually coming from in general. And you can say, no, but he wrote off $1 billion loss. That $1 billion loss in value in his casinos is actually multiple billions of dollars of actual loss of the greenbacky kind from banks. He's lost more money than he's ever made as far as everything we have on the record. Not that it matters, except for that he's a loser. All right. So turns out Trump is a warmonger, which is predictable, but I honestly thought maybe this would be where he was isolationist. Let's make it all about domestic policy. Nope, he likes to be the big daddy's gonna bomb over to make flash. That's basically how it looks like to me. So, I mean, you gotta even hope it's some geopolitical thing to work with the people that want to attack Syria because we can attack, Iran by proxy and all those traditional geopolitical things, as opposed to the idea that Trump woke up at 2 a.m, turned on the TV, look at those pictures, attack. I mean, if he's that influenceable, that's influenza disease right there. All right. Cheers. That's probably it for me for the night. It's been fun. I rarely get to stop working at like 5, so I was like, I'll make a series of videos about preparing. Because I got opinions.